Sundays with Steve, another edition of random rantings from the middle of the Mediterranean. Beautiful day today, very calm, very relaxed. People having barbecues over there, fishing all around here, and very little wind, beautiful weather. And it's going to be like this for, I think, the next week, which is good. Here it comes. The World Cup is in trouble. The World Cup is in mostly America, but it's also in Mexico and Canada. So several of the teams are like, can we play in Mexico or Canada and not play in the United States, please? Because they don't like what America has become. I mean, you've got an 86-year-old French grandmother getting grabbed by ICE and put in a detention center at 86. That's insanely stupid. And of course it hits the headlines all around the world, which is what Trump and his MAGA assholes want, because they don't want any foreigners here, because foreigners bad. But what they don't understand is it's damaged the reputation of the USA so badly. And now they're doing a World Cup, which is the World Cup. It's like people from all over the world coming to America, and they're canceling airline tickets, they're canceling hotel bookings, they're going to be giving away tickets for the World Cup. So don't buy them in California right now. It'd be fun to go watch some World Cup matches. I mean, I'll watch it here. I like watching the World Cup, it's fun. But there's so many people not going to be attending that I think the tickets are going to be pretty cheap. And you've got the Olympics coming up in another 2 years. And unless there's big changes, and I don't see that happening, the Olympics in America is going to be problematic, shall we say. But Viktor Orban got kicked out, and that was a good thing in Europe. And if you look at all the little local elections that have been going on in the past 6 weeks or so, Trump's having his ass handed to him. They're losing everything. Every little election that goes on, there's between 10 and 20% swing to blue. So there's hope. I know it's really bad right now, but there is hope. And that's a good thing. It's going to be a tough 2.5 years, but it will be over. And then there's going to be an awful lot of repair work to be done. And it's also costing a fortune, an absolute fortune. And it's going to cost even more to fix. And then the Republicans will be like, look how wasteful the Democrats are, spending all the money, but they're spending the money to fix the fucking problems that Trump and his Republican buddies caused. And but people in America are kind of dumb sometimes, and they'll be like, yeah, you're right, look at the wasteful Democrats. Jesus. Now, in Iran, I don't know what's happening. It should be called the Straits of Schrodinger, because it's open, it's closed at the same time. The Straits of Hormuz are open and closed at the same time. So they should call it the Straits of Schrodinger, because that would make sense. And again, it's just absolutely insane. It's like you promised you wouldn't get America into war, and then you immediately got them into the stupidest war that America's had. I mean, Vietnam was stupid, but just for fuck's sake, I don't know. And it's probably cost almost $1 trillion so far, which is a huge amount of money that could have been spent building hospitals, building schools, healthcare, daycare for children, but they didn't have the money for that. But all of a sudden, when it comes to like bombing Iran, they've got an unlimited supply of money. I don't get that. Ukraine is in a really interesting place right now because what they've done, and I follow this very closely. There's a couple of really good people that cover it. I'll put links in the show notes below. What they've done is they've held the Russians in place because if you're trying to push them back, you're going to lose thousands of Ukrainians. It's very, very, very costly to do that. So they've been holding them back, and they've been building a drone army. And I don't mean like a drone army that they up and they march at people. They're little like mini tanks with big guns on, and they can be controlled remotely. They're not autonomous. They're controlled by someone back in the base, but that person's controlling exactly where it does. But they've also got drones overhead telling them exactly where to shoot. So they're going to start, now building up a stockpile of them. And now they've got a big stockpile of them, and they're going to be unleashing them on the Russians in the next few weeks. And the Russians won't know what hit them. The economy in Russia is getting hit really badly as well. Just the other day, the Ukrainians were talking about bombing the oil supply. And Trump immediately said, don't do that. That would be bad. And so Ukraine said, well, put some sanctions in place, or keep the ones that you've got in place. And immediately Trump pulled the sanctions, so the Russians obliterated the Russian oil system. I mean, they didn't just destroy the pipelines, they destroyed pipelines, pumping centers, just storage facilities, destroyed the ports. So Russia's still got a lot of oil, but it can't do a fucking thing with it because they can't move it to sell it. And if you can't move it to sell it, it's not sold. You don't get any money for it. So the oil is choking the economy of Russia right now. And there's a lot of rich, selfish assholes in Russia, the oligarchs. A few of them are in London as well, but there's a lot in Russia. And they want to stay rich. And Putin is now hitting them seriously in the wallet. So, I don't know. I don't know what's going to end first, whether they'll get beaten on the battlefield or the economy of Russia will get so bad that Putin gets overthrown. I think the latter is probably more likely because the Russians won't surrender. They'll get the shit kicked out of them, and they're already dying at almost 1,000 a day. Dying and injured and surrendered or missing is up to 1,400 a day. There's some areas in the Donbass, and it's taking 450 lives of Russian soldiers to gain 1 square kilometer. That's 1,000 meters by 1,000 meters. 450 dead troops to do that. But there you go. Anyway, this one's been a bit long. I'm sorry about that, but there's a lot going on in the world right now. I'm going to go shopping. That's my thing today. Bye-bye. See you next week.